Hello there folks, it's SeKo Starcraft back with one of his amateur BS games. Doing some coffee today. Did my drinking yesterday, so just gonna chill out a bit. It's a Terran versus Protoss. The most hated of shiny matchups. But it's alright. It's a bit of a longer game, so we're gonna speed it up just because it takes a while to get into the action here with this game, and I noticed they're casting it for a super long time without something cool to talk about. Let's see, I'm not gonna worry about walling off because I just generally never do against Protoss, and then I'm going to go out for a nice early scout just to see what's going on with my opponent here, who looks like he's going to be going for perhaps a gateway expand. There's no gas just yet. There it is. So I'm going to come in, scout what's going on. He does start chasing around my SCV, so importantly I can't run down here to start building my engineering bay block, so I'm just going to take him for a ride, and he can stick around as long as he wants. My Marines are going to be out in time to deny his scout, and that's the more important thing for me. Now that he left me alone, I'll go for one more quick scout just to see for gas. That's the most important thing in my mind to check. I see gas, and I saw cybernetic scores coming down in there. So I will go and build my engineering bay block. Marines, kill the probe before I can scout. It's a double barracks opening. This is just because I do want to go for a bit more of an expand soon, and I'm too used to Protoss who want to put on pressure. So I'm going to finish this up. Come back in, try to get for a scout. Didn't really get a chance to see anything fantastic. The fact that he's shooting at my engineering bay means he's not shooting at me over here, so I feel a little bit safer. Still going to focus on building more army rather than economy. And that's maybe a bit of a problem for me, is against Protoss, I know that if I'm going in a macro focus kind of game, I should be focusing more on getting that economy out instead of getting out tons and tons of production. But in my mind, what I'd like to do is go for a pressure on his expansion and see if I can get some damage in before it's done. I do need concussive shells to finish, because that's the only way you're going to deal with stalkers out on the map. And there it finishes up. Do a scan. I see the Nexus go down with that scan. I also saw the robo facility. So I figured now might be a good time to go for a little bit of a push out. Behind this, I will be getting my own expansion. So my hope is to deny his expand. I want to get down there. I was hoping to get down there before this finishes so that the photon overcharge couldn't kick in. But we'll see that that's not quite the case. Factory going down, getting my gas out so I can move up into medevacs. Try to slow down my units. That wasn't the best force field I've seen. See the nice little micro there? That was a pretty good micro. I decide I'm going to go up the ramp, but unfortunate timing for me is he actually had enough money to get out a bunch more units as well. I'm going to try to focus down what I can. But with all those stalkers in place, they will cut through my stuff pretty fast. Didn't even get that last one there. So it didn't turn out that well for me. His expansion's going to be down first. He's got stalkers left over, and I really didn't get anything accomplished that I wanted to. I didn't kill the Nexus. I didn't kill economy. And I didn't even destroy all of his army there. So I'm in a bit of a weak spot, even though my command center will be going down now as well. More barracks. More barracks I could probably support right now, but I do want to have that infrastructure in place for when I start pumping in more economy. Upgrade's going to get started up here pretty quick. And now we're just kind of playing a no-touch game for the next little while. We're not really going to talk to each other. It's not like we don't have anything good to say. It's just, you know, sometimes you just want to have a nice quiet game. It looks as though he is going to be getting his Colossus tech out, and I scouted it. I saw the Colossus. I do have my starport on the way. The difficulty is that as a Terran player, I generally would rather focus on getting out more attacking units with medevacs than I would want getting out Vikings. Just because I like the idea of having a better composition of Marauders going against, you know, a Protoss army. It can tank stuff from the Colossus and the Storms better. Didn't have his thermal lance on the way. But in the same instance, it isn't. You can't really do that as effectively. I've been experimenting with some styles of Vikingless play against Colossus, but you've got to take the most favorable engagements. You've got to fight out major open areas that you can really surround on, and sometimes that can be pretty tough. This is a little bit just of a pressure army. It's not enough to really get anything done, but I just wanted to see if a third base was going to go down or anything else. I can always pick up and leave if I want to. But I'm not going to go and push in there. Stimpack is finished. +1's on the way, but we can see his upgrades aren't really anywhere further ahead than I'm at this point. He does have a Dark Shrine. Got a couple of those bad boys warped in over there. But it is not nothing for them to really attack yet. Finally moving another command center over, so I will be having my third base down just slightly before his. Worker-wise, I'm not actually as far behind as I thought I'd be at this point, because he has been stopping making workers. Starting to get my Viking production out. Once they go Colossus a little bit, there's not too often that they don't go tons of Colossus, and I think I get a little bit lucky here, is that it would be very easy for him to just push out with this 3 Colossus army and probably get a lot of damage done. But because he's not, I actually get a bit more time to build up my defenses over here. Missile turrets are going down. A little bit over defensive, but we can see there's actually pretty good timing on these here. Fortunately for me, is that this guy is going to get just in range of this missile turret up here and get shot down. Because I don't think I had any scans ready at this moment. Oh, I didn't. So I got a little bit lucky with that. Going to start moving stuff out on the map just to scout. I want to have better vision of what's going on. And I'm going to come up here and see the status of his third base. And I'll be able to see that it's in pretty full swing. It's not fully saturated yet, but it's over there. We'll clean that up. So army-wise, he's got a pretty big lead. Tech-wise, I think he's got the advantage. The only difference here is that, once again, I think he probably could have pushed out now and gotten more accomplished. But as a Protoss player, sometimes you just like being really, really defensive until you get out that unbeatable army, and then you just go crush face. And I'm sure a lot of people who play Terran and Zerg are familiar with that, where you can't really go and kill this, because it's too much. But it doesn't come in and kill you, so you just wait until you're both kind of maxed, and then the Protoss army is going to be so much better at killing stuff. It's going to have storms, it's going to have colossus, it's going to have upgrades, that they end up just walking over you. You can see his +3 attack is already on the way, because he didn't even worry about getting his armor out. I'm only at +1 right now, so he's got even bigger lead. But, no, 2-2 is on the way actually right now. So we'll see if that comes into play before he moves out. He's almost maxed. Starport going down, another forge, more gateways. Just building that killer death mix of Protoss that I cringe at because it's so hard to take on. I don't know why these guys are hanging out down here. Probably could be doing more things. Just running by into the base. Like, I have detection laying around, I have scans, but if you get a couple DTs snuck in here, kill off some supply depots, do something funky, you can generally just make your Terran player really mad. Because they don't really have things like spine crawlers or cannons sticking around to defend, and I'm not going to keep a bunker full of units sitting in all my baselines just to make sure I can stay alive. So I'm maxed as well, he's maxed. More command centers, more barracks. Why not? I got money to spend. Come over here, expand. I didn't know this pylon was over here. Should be taking my watchtowers, but I didn't. And actually, we're going to slow it down and pause right now, because this is kind of a very definitive moment. We've got 2 maxed armies. 2-2. We finished here in a few seconds. +3 is about to finish like right now. So he's going to have a pretty big upgrade advantage coming over me. But he's just got 4 Colossus, and there's no storms in here yet. So we'll play it. We'll see this. Now, this is a really important point I've got for my hotkeys right now. I've got all my Vikings on one hotkey, the rest of my army on another. What I want to be able to do is bounce in, target down a Colossus, and bounce out with my army. And if I can delay for just a little bit longer, I might be able to get my upgrades finished here. Killing the mothership core, very nice. And upgrades are finished. So I'm at 2-2 now to his 3-0. So now comes the big battle. Now once all the Colossus are dead though, you can see that his supply just plummets right here. Once his area of effect damage is finished, the rest of it just melts. He doesn't have anything else really in place right now to deal with it. And I'm going to scan and take out those DTs in there as well. So really effective engagement for me. And back at home, once again, I got a 4th base happening. Got more economy on the way. Production. He does have his 4th base that I'm not aware of. But I'm going to push in. That's so many DTs. It's not too often you see that because it's so costly to gas. Happily, I will snipe off that warp prism. And we're just going for guaranteed damage. I might lose this army. I'm already convinced that might be the case. But what I want to do is do damage that gives me a lead into the late game here. So I will kill off 2 of his mining bases, a lot of his army. I see that he's going into Void Rays. I don't think that's necessarily the smartest choice. They don't really add too much into his army that he didn't have before. Splash damage would be a lot more effective. So now I'm about to lose all this army, but back at home we can see I'm still building stuff. 3-3 on the way, more production, and missile turrets going down at my new planetary fortress. And I don't really have to worry about gas at this base right now, just because, I mean, I'm building a very mineral-based army. Lots of marauders. That's why planetary fortresses are nice. You just don't have to worry about stuff. Lots of Vikings overhead. We can see that he's given up on Colossus. No, he's got one left. Is it trapped in there? I think these units are trapped in here. That's really funny. I didn't even notice that. I went for a drop over here, but he managed to get his photon overcharge going. I will target down the mothership core here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I will get that, which is good. And then pick up and go away, just because I won't be able to get really any good damage done. I'm just being a little annoying right now. It's easy to get complacent, think that I have the lead, and not go for any type of damage. So I want to make sure I just keep getting further ahead. I'm going to keep expanding, keep working on my army. I even got +2 air weapons for my Vikings on the way, and I'm going to go and try to push for this base now. He does have storms. That's going to be his next thing of choice. And I don't have any ghosts, so it's going to be more important for me to avoid storm damage. I split up my units well, so that way I can try to minimize what I'm going to get hit with. You can see he blew through all of his bank really quickly there, and he hasn't been able to rebuild his nexus. And I think you've got to take a risk as a player at one point and say, oh, I'm going to cut my army a little bit, just so I can get a little bit more of my economy and position. Not the best storms. They hit a lot of my Vikings and medevacs. That storm is a little bit better. That one was pretty good. But he doesn't have a lot of meat to this army right now. Even though I lost a lot of my army, I've just been able to outproduce him through this game. My economy has been better. My production, I can still producing back at home behind this. And I'll land my Vikings just to add a little bit more damage into here, because I don't need them anymore. There's no Colossus in this mix. And then he GG's out. I was very proud of that game. It was one of the first games I've beaten a late game Protoss in where he had all the tech. This guy had all the tech, all the upgrades he needed. That was a little weird, he got messed up with that. Storms, Colossus, Archons, upgrades, and just some really good timing play. Vikings sniping Colossus when they could, and just overwhelming and keeping my production and my economy further ahead than my opponent. Fun little amateur game. I enjoyed that a lot. Getting better at my Terran versus Protoss matchup. Hopefully you guys pick up a tip or two for yourselves. SeKo Starcraft, and we'll talk with you guys later.